I never thought I'd see my lakefront cabin again. The one I'd built with my own hands over 3 summers in Muskoka, back when my joints didn't ache and my daughter still called me Dad instead of avoiding my calls. But there I was, pulling into the gravel driveway on a cold November afternoon, pine trees heavy with early snow. My heart doing something I'd trained it not to do for the past 4 years. The invitation had come by email. Can we talk? Thanksgiving dinner at the cabin. Just us, please. 4 years of silence. And now this. Sarah was 42, old enough to know better, but I'm 67, and apparently still fool enough to believe in second chances. The cabin looked different, better maintained than I remembered. New shutters on the windows, fresh stain on the deck. I'd signed it over to Sarah and her husband Marcus when I moved to the condo in Toronto, thinking it would stay in the family, thinking family meant something. I was reaching for the door handle when someone knocked on my passenger window. Urgent. A young woman, maybe 30. Dark hair pulled back, wearing a canvas jacket and work boots. Her eyes were wide. Frightened, she glanced back at the cabin, then at me, and pressed something against the glass. Her phone, a text message in large letters. Don't go in. They're setting you up. My instinct was to ignore her. Paranoid stranger. Probably, but 40 years as a fraud investigator for the RCMP taught me to recognize genuine fear, and this woman had it written across her face. I rolled down the window an inch. Who are you? I'm their groundskeeper. Please. You need to leave. I overheard them yesterday. They're planning something. I don't know exactly what, but they mentioned getting you declared incompetent. Something about guardianship papers and a psychiatrist who's coming to dinner. And they kept saying, once we have his pension, and I couldn't. I've been trying to figure out how to warn you. The words tumbled out so fast I almost couldn't track them. But certain phrases lodged in my brain like ice picks. Incompetent. Guardianship. His pension. Why are you telling me this? Her jaw tightened. Because 2 years ago, someone did this to my father in Pakistan. He was a doctor. Successful. Retired. My stepmother got him declared incompetent. Took everything. He died in a care facility 6 months later. I was studying in Montreal. Couldn't get back in time. I see the same pattern here, and I can't. I just can't watch it happen again. Something in my chest went cold. What exactly did you hear? She pulled out her phone, hands shaking, and played a recording. Poor quality. Muffled. But I recognized my daughter's voice. I can't believe he actually fell for it. 4 years of not speaking in one email. That's all it took. Marcus. Did you confirm with Dr. Levesque? Once Dad has a few drinks, starts talking about the old days, gets emotional. That's when we bring him in for the evaluation. He'll seem unstable. We have the documentation ready. The forms are already filled out. We just need his signature or the court order. I sat there, engine running, hands gripping the steering wheel so tight my knuckles went white. This couldn't be real. This was my daughter, my Sarah, the girl I'd taught to fish in this very lake, the one I'd walked down the aisle 7 years ago, the girl who'd stopped speaking to me 4 years ago when I refused to co-sign a $200,000 loan for Marcus's investment opportunity. What do you want me to do? My voice sounded strange, distant. Leave. Right now. But more than that, Zara said, you need to protect yourself. Document this. Get legal help. These people, they're not going to stop just because you didn't show up today. I looked at the cabin, smoke curling from the chimney, warm lights in the windows. Probably smelled like turkey and stuffing inside. Probably looked like home. How do I know you're telling the truth? She met my eyes. You don't. But ask yourself, what do I gain from lying? I'm risking my job right now. They could have me deported. I'm here on a work permit, but I saw my father's eyes in that care facility. How empty they were. How betrayed he felt. If I can stop that from happening to someone else, I have to try. I made a decision I'd spend the next 6 months being grateful for. I shifted into reverse. Can you send me that recording? Already did. I have your email from the cabin's maintenance files. She stepped back from the car. Go to a lawyer. Today. Right now. Don't wait. Why are you doing this? Really? She looked back at the cabin one more time. Because someone should have done it for my father. Because working for people like this makes me sick. Because maybe, just maybe, if I do the right thing now, it balances out that I couldn't do anything then. I drove, hands shaking, mind racing, every instinct screaming that this was insane, that I was overreacting, that my own daughter couldn't do this. But I'd spent 4 decades investigating fraud. I knew the patterns. I knew that the people who hurt you worst are often the ones you trust most. I knew that family doesn't exempt you from greed. I drove straight to Janet Morrison's office in Bracebridge. She'd been my lawyer for 20 years, handled my divorce, my will, everything. Her receptionist said she was booked solid, but when I told her it was urgent, that it involved potential elder fraud, Janet came out immediately. What's happened? I played her the recording, watched her face go from skeptical to concerned to absolutely furious. This is attempted guardianship fraud. This is serious. If they'd succeeded in getting you evaluated under false pretenses, with documentation suggesting you're unstable or incompetent, they could have control of your finances, your property, your medical decisions, everything. My mouth went dry. What do I do? First, we document everything. I'm calling a colleague of mine, a psychiatrist, to evaluate you right now. We establish that you're completely competent. Second, we file a police report. Third, we get a restraining order. Fourth, and Tom, you're not going to like this, we go after the cabin. If they're attempting fraud, we have grounds to challenge the property transfer. It's Sarah's home. It's a tool they're using to commit a crime against you. Janet's voice was steel. I know she's your daughter, but what she's planning, that's not love. That's not family. That's predation. The next hours blurred together. The psychiatric evaluation was humiliating, but necessary. Helen Kwan was thorough, professional, and at the end of 2 hours declared me not just competent, but remarkably sharp for your age. Pearson, with no signs whatsoever of cognitive decline. The police were harder. The detective, a young guy named Stiles, kept asking why I didn't just work it out as a family matter. But when Janet played the recording and explained the legal implications of guardianship fraud, his attitude shifted. Pearson, I have to tell you, we're seeing more of this. Adult children, sometimes in financial trouble, targeting elderly parents. It's usually not this premeditated, though this is calculated. They opened an investigation, sent officers to the cabin. Sarah called me 17 times that night. I didn't answer. Marcus called 6 times. Left voicemails ranging from confused to angry to threatening. The threatening ones were the mistake. You senile old bastard. You think you can sick the cops on us? That's our house. Those are our assets. You owe us after everything we've done. If you don't drop this, you'll regret it. We have lawyers too. We'll bury you. I saved every voicemail, forwarded them to Janet. She forwarded them to Detective Stiles. 3 days later, they arrested both of them. Attempted fraud, conspiracy to commit elder abuse, uttering threats. The charges stacked up like cordwood. The psychiatrist they'd hired, Levesque, turned out to be not a psychiatrist at all, but a former nurse who'd lost his license. He'd been running a side business providing fake evaluations for guardianship proceedings. He cut a deal, testified against Sarah and Marcus in exchange for a lighter sentence. The trial took 8 months. I sat through every day of it, watched my daughter, my only child, sit at the defense table and refuse to look at me, watched evidence pile up, emails between her and Marcus planning the whole thing, financial records showing they'd already remortgaged the cabin twice, were drowning in debt, communications with 3 other elderly men they'd scammed using similar tactics. That last part nearly broke me. This wasn't desperation. This was a pattern, a business model. The prosecutor, a sharp woman named Denise Bouchard, laid it out in her closing. Sarah and Marcus Pearson ran a sophisticated elder fraud operation. They targeted vulnerable seniors, often family members, gained their trust, or exploited existing relationships, orchestrated fake psychiatric evaluations, obtained fraudulent guardianship orders, and drained their assets. Thomas Pearson was going to be their 4th victim. He's only here, still in control of his life, because a 29-year-old groundskeeper from Pakistan had the courage to do what his own daughter wouldn't. Treat him like a human being worthy of dignity and protection. The jury deliberated for 4 hours. Guilty on all counts. Sarah got 12 years. Marcus got 15, because of the threatening voicemails, and because he had a prior conviction for forgery we hadn't known about. I sat in that courtroom and felt absolutely nothing. Not satisfaction. Not grief. Just a hollow space where my daughter used to be. The cabin reverted to me through asset forfeiture. I couldn't bring myself to go back there for 6 months. When I finally did, in late May, Zara was still there, maintaining the property. She'd been allowed to stay on while the legal proceedings unfolded. I wasn't sure you'd keep me, she said. When I found her replacing boards on the dock, why wouldn't I? I'm a reminder of what happened. I sat down on the dock beside her, watched the lake ripple in the afternoon sun. You're a reminder that decency exists, that courage exists, that family isn't always blood. She kept working, but I saw her wipe her eyes. The work permit, I said. When does it expire? 4 months. I've been thinking. I need a property manager, full-time, someone to handle maintenance, rentals, administrative work. It would qualify for permanent residency sponsorship. If you're interested, she stopped hammering, looked at me. Pearson, I don't. That's too much. And it's not too much. It's exactly right. You saved my life. You risked everything, gained nothing, and did it anyway because it was right. That's the kind of person I want around. That's the kind of person I choose to call family. She cried then, really cried. Told me about her father, about arriving too late, about carrying that guilt. Told me about seeing the same predatory pattern in Sarah and Marcus, and knowing she couldn't stay silent again. Your father would be proud of you, I told her. You did what you couldn't do for him. You broke the cycle. She lives in the cabin now, manages the property. We rent it out to families, mostly people looking for a week of peace on the lake. She started a side project, a website about recognizing elder fraud, how to protect yourself, red flags to watch for. It's getting attention. She's been interviewed twice on CBC. I visit every few weeks. We fish. We talk. Sometimes we sit in comfortable silence and watch the sunset. She calls me Tom. But sometimes, when she's telling me about a success story from her website, someone who avoided a scam because of her information, she slips and calls me Uncle Tom and doesn't correct herself. I don't correct her either. Sarah writes from prison. Monthly letters. At first full of anger and blame, then gradually shifting to something that might be remorse or might just be manipulation. I don't know. Maybe I never will. I respond once a year, on her birthday. Short notes. I hope you're healthy. I hope you're learning. I hope someday you understand what you destroyed. I don't know if I'll ever forgive her. Some days I think I have. Other days the betrayal feels fresh as the day Zara knocked on my window. But I've learned something important in these past 2 years. Family is a choice, not a biology. Blood doesn't guarantee loyalty. And sometimes the people who save you are complete strangers who simply refuse to look away when they see someone in danger. Last week, Zara's mother came to visit from Karachi. I met her, showed her the property, watched her. Watch her daughter with such fierce pride, it made my chest ache. You gave her back herself, her mother told me, through Zara's translation. After my husband died, after she couldn't save him, she was lost. You gave her purpose. You gave her family. Thank you. I shook my head. She gave me everything. I'm the one who should be thanking you. You raised someone extraordinary. We had dinner on the deck that night, the 3 of us. Zara made biryani from her grandmother's recipe. Her mother told stories about Zara's childhood. I told stories about building the cabin, about the first time I saw a bear swim across the lake, about the northern lights in winter. It felt like family. Real family. The kind that shows up, the kind that protects you, the kind that's built on choice and courage and mutual respect. Later, after Zara's mother had gone to bed, Zara and I sat by the fire pit, watching embers drift up toward the stars. Do you regret not going in that day? She asked, not giving her a chance to change her mind. I thought about it, really thought about it, because she wouldn't have changed her mind. The plan was already in motion. The fake doctor was already hired. The papers were already drawn up. Going in would have meant walking into a trap I might never have escaped. And Zara, if I'd gone in, if they'd succeeded, you'd still be carrying guilt about another father you couldn't save. This way, you saved both of us. She nodded, poked at the fire. I was so scared that day. I almost didn't do it. I almost convinced myself it wasn't my business, that maybe I misunderstood. But you didn't. I didn't, because silence makes you complicit. My therapist keeps saying that. The guilt I carry about my father isn't about failing to save him. It's about not trying, not speaking up. This time, I spoke up. That matters. It matters more than you know. We sat in silence for a while, listening to the lake lap against the shore, watching the fire burn down to coals. Zara's voice was quiet. "Thank you for trusting me. A strange woman, banging on your window, playing you a recording. You could have thought I was trying to scam you. You could have gone in anyway. But you trusted me. You know what my training taught me. Trust your gut. If something feels wrong, it probably is. If someone risks everything to warn you, listen. And you know what else? Real family protects you. Real family shows up when you're in danger. Real family doesn't come from DNA. It comes from choice." She smiled then, the firelight catching in her eyes. "Real family comes from choice. I like that." "So do I." The next morning, Zara's mother asked me to take a photo of them together on the dock. 3 generations, she said. Because family wasn't about blood. Family was about who shows up, who protects you, who chooses you. I took the photo, watched them laugh, arms around each other, the lake sparkling behind them, thought about Sarah in her cell, thought about the life she'd planned for me, warehoused and helpless, thought about the life I had instead, surrounded by chosen family, by people who valued dignity and courage and basic human decency. Sometimes I wonder if I'll see Sarah again when she's released, if there's any path back from what she did, if forgiveness is possible or even desirable. I don't have those answers yet. Maybe I never will. But I know this. I'm 69 now. My joints still ache. My hair's gone completely gray. But I wake up every morning in control of my own life, surrounded by people who genuinely care about my well-being, doing work that matters. I'm teaching Zara to fish. She's terrible at it, but she's patient. And last week she caught a bass that she was so proud of. She took about 50 photos. Her mother caught 3 trout and was insufferably smug about it. We're planning to start a nonprofit next year, Elder Fraud Prevention and Support. Zara will run it. I'll fund it and serve on the board. We're calling it Chosen Family Initiative, because that's what saved me. That's what saved both of us. Last night, we sat on the deck watching the sunset, and Zara said, "You know what I think? I think we were supposed to meet that day. I think my father somehow sent me to save you, so I could finally forgive myself for not saving him. I don't know if I believe in that kind of destiny, but I know that one brave woman's choice to speak up changed everything, saved my life, gave her purpose, created a family neither of us knew we needed, and I know that the next time someone invites me to dinner after years of silence, I'll remember that real reconciliation doesn't start with wine and turkey. It starts with truth, with accountability, with changed behavior over time. The cabin's peaceful now. The lake is still beautiful. The northern lights still dance in winter. And every morning, I wake up grateful for the woman who knocked on my window and said, "Don't go in." Because she didn't just save my freedom or my assets. She saved my faith that courage still exists, that decency still matters, that family, real family, is built on choice and trust and showing up when someone needs you. That's a gift worth more than any inheritance. That's a family worth choosing. That's a life worth living. And every single day, I choose it again.